Now, meanwhile, the World Bank's report follows a similarly gloomy forecast a week earlier from the managing director of the IMF, Kristina Georgieva, who in an interview admitted the IMF is forecasting that 1/3 of the world economy will be in a recession this year. This is largely due to economic slowdowns in the US, Europe, and China.
For most of the world economy, this is going to be a tough year, tougher than the year we leave behind. Why? Because the three big economies, US, EU, China, are all slowing down simultaneously. The US is most resilient. The US may avoid a recession. We see the labor market remaining quite strong. This is, however, a mixed blessing, because if the labor market is very strong, the Fed may have to keep interest rates tighter for longer to bring inflation down. The EU, very severely hit by the war in Ukraine. Half of the European Union will be in recession next year. China is going to slow down this year further. Next year would be a tough year for China. And that translates into negative trends globally. When we look at the emerging markets and developing economies, there the picture is even direr. Why? Because on top of everything else, they get hit by high interest rates and by the appreciation of the dollar. For those economies that have high level of debt, this is a devastation.
Well, despite forecasts of a global recession, the Indonesian Minister of Finance, Sri Mulyani, said she is optimistic that Indonesia's economy will grow even higher in 2023 due to the strength of the domestic market and rising demand for Indonesian exports. At the CEO Banking Forum in Jakarta, Minister Sri Mulyani reminded that Indonesia has achieved 31 consecutive months of trade surplus, and the prices of Indonesian major commodity exports, such as coal, still remain high. The Indonesian state budget also ended 2022 with a major surplus of 129 trillion rupiah, showing that Indonesia's state revenues remain high and exceed government spending even amid economic challenges such as high oil prices. The surplus gives Indonesia fiscal room to face the mounting challenges this year. Meanwhile, the government's official forecast is 5.3% growth in 2023. Despite the optimism, though, Minister Sri Mulyani said that the Indonesian Finance Ministry will remain vigilant and monitor the dynamics of the global economy in 2023 amid warnings of a global recession.
Nah, untuk 2023, APBN juga tetap didesain sebagai instrumen yang harus mengelola dan menjaga masyarakat dan ekonomi. Saya ingin sampaikan beberapa alasan untuk waspada sebelum kita optimis. IMF baru saja mengeluarkan prediksi, biasanya memang awal Januari. Kalau tahun 2021 pertumbuhan ekonomi dunia di 6%, tahun 2022 oleh IMF diprediksi hanya 3,2%, 2023 hanya 2,7%.